wish that you could have more success in your career, or maybe just more work-life balance, or just maybe more fulfillment in what you're doing, like you just want to enjoy your job more, and you're struggling to find that? Why is that? Why can't you get what it is that you want? I have an educated guess. My guess is you have the wrong mindset. And today we're going to talk about how to shift your mindset to the mindset that's actually going to help you get the success you desire. Hey, my dear, I am leadership development coach Kathy Archer, author of best-selling book, Mastering Confidence. And what I know is that for most of us women who are running these nonprofits and trying to figure things out, is that we hit this point in our career where we feel in over our heads and we're wondering if we have what it takes to lead. Probably because we've never been given the skills and the training necessary to do the actual job of leadership. I give you both the inner and outer tools to restore your lost confidence so you, my dear, can move from surviving to thriving in both your leadership and your life. Many of us are struggling with getting the work-life balance we want. Maybe we want to learn some of the leadership skills so that we can be a better leader. Maybe we want to learn to have more emotional intelligence so we can stay composed more. Maybe we want to change our job, go back to school, find more wellness in our life. And yet we just never seem to get there. And why is that? My guess, as I say, it's because you have the wrong mindset. The mindset you need to adopt for success. You know that something needs changed. You know that something's not right in your life, but you're struggling to actually figure it out. What's the challenge? Well, you probably have the wrong mindset. Sorry if my papers are making noise. So here are 3 reasons why you're probably struggling, kind of the mindsets behind what's getting in your way. The first one is you have hope with no action. Oh my God, I wish things would get better. Oh, I can't wait for things to get better. That's not going to change anything, honey. That is going to leave things exactly the same way they are. Hope is the belief that tomorrow will be better than today. But realistic hope, like the hope that actually works, is when you believe that tomorrow will be better than today and you take action to make that happen. Many of us wish and plead and beg and pray and, bemoan our life, but we're waiting for it to get better. We're not taking action to make it better. So ask yourself that. Do I have hope without action? The second place that people struggle is they have blame without responsibility. If only my boss would send me to that course. I don't have time to do any training. That other person got the promotion and they didn't even consider me. That's blame without responsibility. And we spend a lot of time playing that victim mode. Poor me, woe is me, nothing's ever going to change. Nobody cares about me. Nobody ever invests in me. Nobody ever puts time into developing me and my skills. That's not going to get you anywhere. And so if that's your mindset, think about that. Blame without responsibility. And what can you do? It kind of goes back to that action piece, right? What can you do to take responsibility? I always break responsibility up into 2 words, response-able. If you didn't get the promotion, you have the ability to respond to that feedback. That's feedback. That's just information. I didn't get the promotion. So what is it that you need to do to get the next promotion? Well, I need to know this skill. I need to have this training under my belt. I need to be able to manage teams a little bit better. I'm not very good at running staff meetings. What's the skill that you're lacking so that you can get that next promotion? That's responsibility. Maybe it's going and sitting down with your boss and saying, tell me why I didn't get the promotion. What can I do to improve? That's taking responsibility. So the first one is hope without action. Second one is blame instead of responsibility. And the third one is being random instead of focused. Hey, Tina, nice to see you. So we're talking about why it's hard to make change. And here's the 3 kind of mindsets that people are in. One is we have hope without action. We, pray that tomorrow will be better, but we don't do anything to change it. We blame instead of take responsibility. So we're waiting for something to happen. And the third one is being random instead of focused. We spend a lot of time taking whatever course shows up on our email. We spend a lot of time, looking at the flavor of the month. Oh my God, everybody's taking courageous conversations. I better take courageous conversations too. And we follow sort of the pack. And that's that randomness. And that's not going to get us where we truly want to go. All that does is, again, follow kind of the mediocre standard. Everybody's got this. Well, if you're competing to advance your career and everybody has that same training, that's not going to make you stand out. So if you want to find that success, if you want to make those changes that you're looking for, you need to take responsibility for creating your own personal and professional learning plan. I want you to develop what I call a curriculum mindset. I want you to have a mindset that says, what are the skills I'm learning and how am I learning it? What is it that I'm developing in myself and what tools am I using to develop that? I want you to be thinking, if I want changes in my life, any kind of changes, I need to have 3 components: a goal, a path, and the tools. So the goal might be, I want to increase my sort of work-life balance. The path might be that I need to learn how to set I need to learn how to set boundaries, or better boundaries, or more effective boundaries. And that's going to let me leave at 4:30 when I plan to leave. It's going to let me learn to shut the phone off at the end of the day and not feel like I have to respond to every email. Setting boundaries is going to help me find more of that work-life balance. Great. But how are you going to learn to set better boundaries? You can't just wish that you're going to be better at setting boundaries. You can't just hope that one day you're just going to magically feel more confident and be able to set better boundaries. If you've struggled your whole career to set boundaries, don't think it's just going to change because you say it should. You actually have to do something to learn how to set better boundaries. And when I talk about the tools, ultimately, in my mind, if you don't have a binder or a book and a pen to write things down, you're not learning. Not learning strategically. If you don't have something where you're sitting down, you have a scheduled thing in your calendar, whether that's a course you're taking or whether it's scheduled time to go through an online course or you're committed to reading a book at a certain time, if you don't have that in your calendar, you are not strategically learning. And that goes back to that third point I said a minute ago, random instead of focused. You know, I'm going to read this book. Okay, but when are you going to read that book? How are you going to make sure that you find the time to commit to it? And how are you going to apply the strategies in that book? We read books all the time and like, hey, that's a good idea. Yeah, I really like that idea. But what do you do about it? If you don't have a plan for applying that strategy, 2 days later, you're going to forget it. It's like all of the training that we take. Remember, I mean, think of the last day-long training session you went to. What do you remember from it? 1, 2, maybe 3 points at best. You don't remember everything you learned in that whole session. We only can take away a few things at a time. And the stuff that we learn is the stuff that we apply. And if you really want to learn it, it's the stuff you teach. So let me walk you through how this has worked for me. So when I started my own business, I knew that I had to get better at speaking. I wanted to speak in conferences. I wanted to do this kind of speaking, and I wanted to do teaching. So the first thing, that was a goal. I wanted to be an effective and an inspiring speaker. I didn't want to just, talking head. I want to be the kind of speaker that you're going to sit and listen to and find inspiring and that you're going to learn from. So the first thing I did was I joined Toastmasters, and every week, it's on my calendar, I go to Toastmasters. And I have a learning curriculum. There is a curriculum in Toastmasters where you go through speech at a time, and there's information. So one time you're looking at pace, the next time you're looking at gestures, the next time you're looking at the development of the writing, that good old outline, beginning, middle, and end, 3 points in the middle. It's teaching you different skills. So that was my first path to becoming a better speaker. I've been doing that for a number of years. And a couple of years ago, I was like, there's still something missing. And a lot of what's missing for me is the ability to have the long-term stamina to speak long-term. So if I'm going to speak for a whole day at a conference, I'll lose my voice. So last year I joined choir. I am not a singer, but I knew that there would be some training in there that would help me develop my voice better. And it has, to a point. But what I'm still realizing is it's still not enough. I actually have to put into practice some stuff. And the choir is, they're there to have fun and enjoy the process, not so much to learn how to breathe correctly. And so I've been online looking for some voice coaches, some online training that I can take to learn how to breathe better, to use my diaphragm instead of my throat to speak, all of that kind of stuff. So that's how I've created that learning curriculum for me. I know that I need to do that. Here's some other examples. Pop a note in the chat box if you have something that you want to learn and any idea of how maybe you can create that learning curriculum. Here's one. Maybe you want to stay composed during tough conversations. This was the webinar I had yesterday. Well, your path to staying composed during those tough conversations is to increase your emotional intelligence. And again, you are not going to become a more emotionally intelligent person by wishing it would happen. You're certainly not going to become more emotionally intelligent by waiting for your boss to stop being such a jerk. That's not going to change you. You have to sit down and go, okay, well, first thing, maybe I need to learn emotions. Maybe I need to figure out what my emotions are. I need to find somebody to teach that process to me. I need to understand emotional intelligence better. Maybe I could take this course. Maybe I could do this work. Maybe I need a coach. Maybe I need a mentor. Maybe I need to go take some face-to-face training. Some of it could be online. Maybe I need to read a book. But you need to create your learning curriculum. It's not going to happen if you don't do it. Somebody isn't magically going to sit down with you. And if they do, hallelujah, and tell me about it, because I don't think this happens in 99% of organizations. But your boss, the person going through your performance appraisal, if you've even got a performance appraisal done, is not going to sit down and say things like, yeah, you need to become more emotionally intelligent. And you need to learn how to be more composed during meetings. And here's the book I want you to read. And here's the mini course I want you to take online. And this is the person I want you to practice this with. Your boss isn't going to do that. Your boss doesn't have the time to do that, nor do they probably have the skills to do that. That's up to you to do. And so my mantra is always, if you don't have a binder or a book, you are not learning strategically. If you don't have a binder that's got some worksheets printed out in it, some lessons that you're reading, if you don't have a book that you're highlighting, or a scribbler that you're taking notes from a book or from an online course, mindset you need to adopt for success. Many of us are struggling because we want changes in our lives, we want changes in our career, and they're not happening. And what I'm going to suggest is that many times that's because you have the wrong mindset. And your mindset, these are the three mistaken mindsets that many of us have. We have this hope without action. Oh my God, I wish things would get better. I really wish things would change. I can't wait for things to be different. But we don't actually do anything to make it different. And so that's the first mistaken mindset that we have. The second one is we blame instead of taking responsibility. My boss doesn't send me for training. We have no funding in our budget for training. I don't have the time to learn, to go to a course. That's that blame part. And we need to flip that to take responsibility, that we are able to respond. The third one is that we are random instead of focused. We take whatever course just happens to come along instead of being clear on what it is we're trying to learn and develop and grow in ourselves. So what I want you to do is I want you to develop a curriculum mindset. I want you to create your own personal and professional learning plan. I want you to get clear on what your goals are, what your plan is to get there, and then I want you to know what tools you're using. In my mind, if you don't have a binder, a book, something that you're doing, and if it's not in your schedule, you are not learning strategically. You're learning haphazardly, maybe at best, but you're not developing the skills that you need to develop for your best self and to be happiest. Sorry, I have a hair in my face. You're not learning those skills that you want to develop yourself so that you can take the career path you want, so you can feel happier, more fulfilled in the work you're doing. You're not getting to the point that you want to. So that's the mindset I want you to adopt. It's a curriculum mindset. I want you to think about, I need to develop my personal and professional learning plan, and I need to be strategic about that. And ask yourself, where's my book? Where's my manual? Where's my course? Something tangible in your hand and in your calendar that says, I am learning. Those are the three things that I want you to create. What's my goal? What's my plan? And what are my tools? Those tools need to be a book, a manual, a course, an online course, a workshop you're attending, a mentor you have, a coach you've got. It's something that's very clearly related to that goal and that plan that's going to help you move along. So that's the mindset I want you to adopt. So I hope that has been helpful for you today to start thinking about, I better get myself a binder. If you're like me, you love school supplies anyhow. So that's the first thing I want you to do is grab a binder, grab a journal, grab a notebook, whatever, and start then writing down, what are the goals I want to achieve? Where is it that I want to be? What's the difference I want? And then write down, what's the path I need to go through to get there? If you want some help with this, there's two resources I'm going to share. One is up in the link in the notes. It's the guide sheet. It's the same one I've been sharing for the last few weeks, but it's really, really an important piece about the planning piece. And so that's the five mistakes many women make when they go to plan, and the fixes. And it's the fixes I really, really, really want you to focus on. What do you do to make this plan work? And then the other thing is, if you are ever interested, I don't know if I put the link in the notes. If you want the course that's going to help you develop this learning curriculum, head over to myblueprintforchange.com, and that's going to help you to really work through this in a strategic way, create that plan that's going to help you advance your skills, find more success, happiness in your job, and find more balance in life. That's what's going to help you get to where you want to go. It's getting rid of that mindset where you're, hope without action, blaming without responsibility, or just being random instead of focused. Get that out of the way and move over to strategically creating a plan that's going to involve some goals, the strategy for what you're going to do, and then some tools, some actual tools that you are using to make those changes. That's, my dear, what's going to move you from surviving to thriving in both your leadership and your life. Go make the rest of your day awesome, my dear.